Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good night, whatever time of the day it is. Hello, this is Mrs. Campbell again. And I just want to say I hope that you're all still doing well. And we are moving on to the lesson on looking at political institutions. Now, for political institutions, we are going to be looking specifically at the structure of government. And for this, what you're viewing is really an overview of the lesson. What this overview does is that it will answer some questions you may have. You know the difference between having a teacher standing and talking in front of you and explaining things versus sitting down in front of your computer or your phone and trying to get it done. So I'm trying to bridge the gap by having a little one-on-one where I try to explain things or concepts that I think might be a little bit confusing at first, okay? So that's the reason for this video. So you watch this video and then you go to renweb and do the work that you have to do there that has already been placed there. Or while doing the work on renweb, you might come upon something that's baffling you a little bit, you're not too sure about it, then you could just whip it back on this video and say, oh, I don't missed that talk about. All right, so that's the purpose of this video. All right, let's get right into it. I'm going to share my screen. All right, to share my screen, I need to find, first of all, what it is that I'm looking for. All right, I'm not seeing it here, so I will just have to go search for it. I know it's not far, but right, okay, here we are. All right, so let me just hide this panel here. Good. All right, so here we are. It's lesson 13, and we're looking at the structure of government. So the first thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to look at the objectives for the lesson. And the objectives for the lesson are three of them. One, we're going to explain the key concepts or the terms in this topic. And we're talking about things like government, senate or senator, and things like those. You'll hear some more about it. And we're going to critique the structure of the Jamaican government and the composition of each branch of government. Then we're going to explain the composition of each branch of government. So number 2, critique the structure. We're going to look at the structure of the government and discuss it, analyze it, criticize it, what we think about it. And then we're going to look at what it has, what it contains, how it's composed. And then now we're going to explain in number 3, the composition or the structure of the branches of government. Okay. So the first thing that you're asked to do is you're asked to carefully examine the chart on the next slide showing the structure of the Jamaican government. And this chart has been uploaded in renweb, so not to worry, it is there for you to look at. So let's see what the chart looks like. And first of all, let me say before I even go to the chart, there are 3 branches of government in the British Commonwealth, but we're specifically looking at the Jamaican system. But I said grade a while ago because a thought came to my mind in that for those of you who are contemplating doing social studies up to the CXC level, this is a topic that will come back and that is very vital in the completion of your CXC exam. So if you are a social studies enthusiast and you plan to do social studies, especially a topic like this one, you don't forget it. Topics like the family, you don't forget those. All right, so let's look at the structure of government. There are 3 branches. We have the executive, the legislature or the legislative, and the judiciary. Those are the 3 branches. So you need to know them by heart. Just sing it. Executive, legislative, judiciary. Executive, legislative, judiciary. So the executive, the legislature, or the legislative, and the judiciary. So know those by heart. Now here is a diagram showing the structure, and you will notice that at the top in the orange, we have, let me get my pointer here. All right, so at the top here, we have the monarch. But what is a monarch and who is a monarch? The monarch really refers to a king or a queen. And so in Jamaica, we are a constitutional monarchy. And so we operate independently with our own constitution, but we have as the head the Queen of England. And so having the queen as the head, we will have her, she at the top here, and this is where she is, the monarch. The queen is what you would call a titular head, which means she is not really involved directly in our everyday or day-to-day business. However, she oversees everything. The queen is represented here by the governor general. So here's the queen and here's the governor general. Now, underneath these two, the titular heads, which means they have the title, titular coming from title. So they have the title, but they're not involved in the everyday conducting of business. We have the three branches of government in green now: the executive, the legislative, and the judiciary. Now, let us look at them individually. When we look at them individually, we will, I'm missing my point, all right, let it go. When you look at them individually, the executive, first of all, you realize it comprises three sections. We have the cabinet. Who is the cabinet? The cabinet is really referring to the ministers, ministers of government, the members of parliament who are part of the governing party, the ruling party, who makes policies and things like that. Now, under the executive, under the cabinet now, then you have ministers, because you do also have ministers who are not a part of the cabinet. You have junior ministers, you have ministers of state, etc. So they don't have a particular portfolio. They are not the minister of finance or the minister of education or minister of agriculture or whatever it is, but they are still ministers. So they fall under the cabinet. Now, to the right of the cabinet, we have the civil servants. Who are civil servants? Civil servants are persons who work in the public sector, who work for the government. They're paid by the government. So you're talking about like teachers, nurses, doctors who work at the hospital, anybody who works and they're paid by the government. It's not a private business that is paying them, that they're working for. They're not working for Jamaica National Bank or Sagico or anything like that. They are working for an institution that is owned and operated by the government. So like myself, I'm a civil servant because I'm operating in a school that is owned and operated by the government. But you also have teachers who are not civil servants because they would have been working where? Right. If you said private schools, then yes, they would not be civil servants because they are employed by private entities. Then now you have the legislature, and this is another branch. The legislature, it has, in Jamaica in particular, you could have a legislature with one house or two. It could be bicameral, meaning two bi, think of bicycle. Anything bi refers to two. Anything uni, like unicorn, refers to one. So the bicameral means it has two houses. The unicameral refers to one house of parliament. Jamaica has two. So in Jamaica, we have the two houses, and we have, in those two houses, we have the Senate, which is also called the upper house, and we have the House of Representatives, which is also called the lower house. So we have the upper house and the lower house, if you just want to remember the easy part, and if you want to be like all that intelligent, yeah, then you would want to say the Senate and the House of Representatives, but it's the same thing. All right, so Senate, House of Representatives, upper house, lower house. And so the senators sit in the Senate, and the MPs, which is short for Member of Parliament, they sit in the House of Representatives. A Member of Parliament is not only referring to those who are part of the governing party. In this case, right now, it's the JLP. No, it's referring to every minister that has been elected in his or her constituency and is now sitting in the House of Parliament. So no matter if you're a party winner or not, as long as you did win for your constituency, you're an MP and you are a Member of Parliament. So we have the two houses. But as I said before, you could also have a parliament where it's just one house, maybe just a House of Representatives, and that's it, or whatever. But we have two houses. Then now we have the judiciary, and the judiciary is the arm that looks at enforcing the law, interpreting the law. And from you hear the law and law enforcing and interpreting, you definitely have to start in police, courthouse, and them something. And you are right if that's what you were thinking. So we have the courthouses here, and At the head, we have the Privy Council, which is in England, which is based in England. Below that, we have the Caribbean Court of Justice. Then we have the Court of Appeals, we have the High Court, and we have the Magistrates Court, or the RM Court, Resident Magistrate. And you have branches, different divisions of courthouses. There's a little trick to remember in the courts, and it's to say that they are in reverse alphabetical order. So I'll tell you some more about that trick at another time. I don't remember it exactly now, but yes, there's a listing. We can look at it again. All right, so we have the courthouses under the judiciary. So the judiciary refers to interpreting, enforcing law. The legislature, I don't think I said this, they make the law and they change the law, and they also get rid of or repeal laws. So in Parliament, this is where they will discuss something that they think should be a law, or they will find a law in the books and say this law doesn't make sense anymore, it's time for it to change, and they go and debate it and they go through all of those processes. This is where the lawmaking is done, in the legislature. The executive now, they come up with policies and they can suggest proposals or bills to be made into law too. But once they suggest it, it still comes over to the legislature. The judiciary go and check to see if these things are constitutionally fair, and if these very laws that when made are broken, they will ensure that they are enforced and whatever needs to be done is done, and that persons are interpreting the law properly. No, the monarch question, and you're asked to answer this in renweb. Do you think the Queen should be retained as the head of state? We are an independent country, not true. But why do we still have the Queen? Do you think we should have the Queen as the head of state, or do you think we should not? But when you give me your answers, please give reasons for your answers. Okay, so now the next activity that you're required to do is to watch a video on the parliamentary mace. I have the video here, but I'm not going to play it. You're going to access this in renweb, and you're going to play it from there, and then it will take you to the link, and you will play the video, and then you're going to answer some questions. You're going to say what is the purpose of the mace, who is the sergeant of arms, that's what they call it in some countries. In Jamaica, we call it the marshal. We call the person the marshal. What's the purpose of it and the history of it. And this video will give you that information to be able to answer those questions. You're also going to be asked to watch a sitting of Parliament. I have not posted a link for a video for this because some of them are quite lengthy. So I leave it up to you to choose. So you're going to go to YouTube and you're going to just type in sitting of Parliament, Jamaica, sitting of Parliament. Please put Jamaica, and you will see many of them, some shorter than some. Choose one, watch it. And when you've watched it now, you are going to say what you have observed, and you're going to write a reflective piece. You're going to reflect, you're going to listen to what they're doing and see what they're doing, and then you're going to write a piece. So that is it. The detailed instructions are given in renweb. Thirdly, you're being asked to research the composition and the functions of the three branches of the Jamaican government and make notes. Now, we looked at the structure of government already. How is it composed? How is it set up? Who is there? And what are the three branches? What purpose they serve? I mentioned some of it, so you're going to research and you're going to come up with these answers, and you're going to put this in note form. No, so you would have gathered some information so far, both from videos, I'm not sure if I posted a handout, I don't think so, and from your research. And you're going to draw your own chart now to show the structure of the Jamaican government. I showed you one. Now be creative. Make sure you have all the information in the correct places. All the three branches of government must be reflected, and the different areas that are attached to them. But it is your drawing, so you're going to decide how you draw it and how you color it, how you fix it up. So you're going to draw a model of the structure of government for me, and you're going to take a picture of this if you do it in your book and upload it to renweb, or if you do it in Microsoft Word or PowerPoint or something like that, you save it to your computer or your laptop, your computer or your phone, and then you're going to upload it to renweb as well. Now, we saw some instruction about keywords and terms. There are some words that are important, and we are going to need to find out what these words mean so that we can truly say what is what, and we can understand what we're saying. So some words like Senate, senator, I'm trying to remember them from the top of my head, but all right, I'm not remembering them now, but they're there in renweb. And you're going to make a notes card. And the card you're going to make, or word card really, is going to give the definition of each word. It's going to give a sentence using the word, a picture of what the word represents, and I think the part of speech. All right, here's a sample of something like what I would want you to do. Yeah. All right, you see me running through there? Great. All right, so just to keep you engaged. First, it doesn't have to look exactly like this, but if it does, I don't have a problem. So you're going to have the definition. Then you're going to have, you don't need any characteristics here. What you need is a picture. All right, excuse me a minute. And you're going to need a picture. And you're going to need a part of speech. Is it a noun, a verb, adjective, whatever it is? And so you're going to use it in a sentence. You're going to give the meaning. You're going to say the part of speech, and you're going to show a picture or draw a picture. All right, so there's one of the words. Democracy, one of the words. Democracy, government, Westminster model, executive, legislature, judiciary, parliament, senate, bicameral, bill, act or law, civil service, executive agencies. All right, so those are the words. Coming down to the end. What would life be like without these three branches of government? And I would really want you to, sorry about that. And I'd want you to post your response, okay? So let me just play this here.
Can you imagine if the country did not have a government to lead the people?
Can you? What would it be like if we did not have a government to govern the people? And my internet what has been given trouble.
In all societies, there is unacceptable behavior that, if left unchecked, could lead to chaos.
All right, so if there are no rules, if there's no order, it could be chaos. No, what would life be like without these branches of government and the functions they perform? That is something I really, really would love to hear your responses on. Post it on the class wall or in the appropriate section on renweb. Okay, then there's a little quiz for you to do. This is somewhat like the quiz, but not exactly the quiz. We're going to have to select the various forms of government, branches of government, and the functions that they perform. And then there's going to be a chart for you to also complete. And those two activities will be graded. All right, so that's about it. Hope you're enjoying your time at home. I know it can be stressful, but nonetheless, we're fighters and we'll get over it, okay? So that is it for now. If you have any questions or issues and this video has not answered it, feel free to WhatsApp me anytime from 8 to 4 p.m., not after 4 and not before 8 o'clock in the morning, all right? And I will answer you. And this is just if you have an immediate question that you really need an answer to right now while doing the work. Other than that, you can post it on the renweb wall and I'll get to your other students may assist you. Have a wonderful afternoon.